whether that be me or someone else that sits in this chair in the future or someone that's sat in the past, they have a duty when elected to give you their best advice. The Municipal League has a duty by virtue of our membership with them to give you their best advice. And I think that you should heed and take that advice for what it's worth. And if you want to discount it totally, that's your opinion, and you can do that. And you can vote your opinion and your say. But it's not meant as a threat when it comes from me, and I don't believe it was a threat when it came from Mr. Schoen, when he basically said the same thing as I think I've told you tonight, that if you do not fund this pension, that by virtue of the action taken by the previous council, you are laying this city open to a lawsuit. And yes, some things have to come to a lawsuit before an answer is made. But if you're being told, and I believe you are also being told by Mr. Schoen, that you're likely to lose, and I told you a few minutes ago, I believe it's my duty to inform you, as the elected city attorney of this city, having served 8 years. I don't take this personal. If you look at the law the way it is written, I think this city needs to be aware, and this council needs to be aware. If you don't fund what appears to be a mandated retirement, you lay the city open to suit.
Ms. Ballard? In regards to your answer a while ago about you obtaining a private attorney, that's totally on you. It has nothing to do with the council.
All right. I'm in favor of not approving this and letting there be case law set, so in the future people will know exactly what is what without having to go through all this.
I know you have to end up.
The only thing that I would like to emphasize is for those taxpayers that are out there, is that we have, I remember sitting behind this table as a member of the Planning Commission during the Crescent Park project, and Judge Ohm came in, and the words that are branded into my brain is follow the code. Okay, we're attempting to follow the code as we read it. If we get a writing from the Municipal League other than our own personal initiative, then I would be willing to approve this even if we have to have a special meeting. If they come back in writing to the mayor and council that this is legal, then I would support it. If not, I cannot support it.
Mr. Berry?
I'm a little confused as to exactly what specific you as mayor or the city attorney would write to the municipal that had waived the waiver. Is there a specific question other than what, I mean, from my understanding, the last thing I saw, the only thing I saw in the email from Mr. Schoen was that if the council doesn't approve the funding this, that we would be sued and would lose. Now, I'm not sure what the question is that we would ask municipally. I'm all for any clarification that Mr. Funhouse needs, but I think I'm a little confused on what the question would be.
Once again, Mr. Schoen said, I would advise you to ascertain what actually occurred. What actually occurred was a motion made, seconded, and passed to approve the retirement of MJ Sell. Not the retirement benefits, not adding the years together, the retirement. So she's retired. This doesn't have any teeth.
Mr. Poundon?
I promise, last comment. I've dealt with enough contract law in 25 years, and I was not meaning that as a threat or anything else. I respect the city attorney's comments. The problem is, she's got one answer. I've got another one. There's other people, because I found out after the fact when I was emailing Mr. Schoen that it was going to the mayor's office, and this was before I even was aware of it. And the thing of it is, you can ask any question that you want to get the answer that you're looking for. If Balance can ask the question in a way that would give her an answer that she wants to hear, same as I could. That's why I request that the mayor/city attorney request a reading from the Arkansas Municipal League in writing, and then we can act on it at that time without this item in the resolution.
Is the council willing to go along with whatever the reading says, or will it be another
I
point
said
of
I would
issue?
go with what we're told and vote I would vote my non-agenda item. It's not my agenda. What I've been asked.
Mr. Weaver, is it necessary for the city council to vote on a so-called retirement as opposed to all the benefits and everything that goes along with the retirement? Is that something the city council is even concerned with?
What the council has before it right now is a budget amendment and an amendment to that. It doesn't have anything to do with whether it's a benefit or whether it's monetary or what it is. It only has to do with that line item, whether it should be stricken or not.
That's what we're working on.
So you've got a very narrow agenda item right now that you're really looking at, although I think the conversation has bloomed into a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you probably need to go back and address whether you want to remove this item or not from the current resolution. And a resolution is in simply that. It is not an ordinance. It is something that's meant to be of a nature to fill a time period. That's why we adopt, or why the city, I think, adopts their budgets now by resolution, is because there's a limited time period.
So,
Yes, sir.
so what you're saying is then we could adopt a budget for 90 days.
I'm not telling you to adopt a budget for 90 days, but you can change your budget.
Any other discussion? Yes, ma'am.
In other words, if we found later that it was appropriate to appropriate these funds for a private individual, we could come back at that time and add the line item to the budget. Is that what you're telling us?
I'm not going to tell you that that's inappropriate, because it could be done that way. But in the meantime, you may get sued if you eliminate it. I think what Mr. Parnell asked a moment ago was, could it be left in there for 90 days? Yes, your budget can be amended to add things or remove things. It's a simple, short, and long of the answer to both of you. You can make changes to a budget resolution.
Do we have a second on her motion, too?
Is there any motions on the table?
That's what we're fixing to find out. We're so far into this thing, I need to go back and find out what. Her motion was to delete the retirement distribution section of 001-110.
Mr. Kirkpatrick
Second?
seconded.
Okay.
We have no vote
Okay,
so
the motion's
far.
been made and seconded to remove item 01-10-5015, retirement distribution, increase $15,250.
Could I direct a question to the finance director?
Okay, my number was, okay, I said 01-10.
It is 01-00.
Okay, I've got 01.
I have
Oh, excuse me, I have incorrect information.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
DeVille, would
Looking
you
at
please
the
say?
resolution.
Question for the finance director.
Yes.
Yvonne, please. Say if everything worked out perfectly, a two-week delay on this would cause what?
Well, I wouldn't have the funding for the auditorium. That is,
You have bills pending on the auditorium right now.
yes, sir. I have utilities coming in right now for the auditorium. I have the parks requesting the grant monies, and I have an expense invoice for the line item for the Mayor's Arts Council expense.
Couldn't delay him 2 weeks.
It's
I'm
up
just
to
fishing.
you
I'm
all.
just
Otherwise,
fishing. I'm just fishing for tabling this for 2 weeks.
what I could recommend to you is to do as maybe Ms. Balance recommends, if you want to discuss that and find more information on the retirement, is to go ahead and strike that off this resolution, and then when you come to needing to fund it, you can vote that on the table, and then we can fix it at midterm.
So we have no payments vis-a-vis this retirement fund until mid-year, or it'll filter out of the budget anyway.
The retirement fund, the distribution, if y'all pass it, then we would go back to the January 1st.
It'd be retroactive.
Yeah. We would pay her up until, yeah, whenever y'all decide to, if y'all decide to fund it, then we would pay her what's due her up to that point, and then started doing it monthly after that.
Turner.
Back to my original question, now that that's been asked, can we change the resolution from 1 January 2011 to 1 January 2011, ending March 31st, 2011, striking the retirement redistribution for that 90 days, awaiting a written response from the Arkansas Municipal League? That way every other bill can be paid, and we've got a budget other than line item 0110501115.
Mr. Weaver?
And that way it doesn't have to wait until mid-year, and we aren't flopping around.
Defer to Mr. Kennedy here.
And if we get an answer sooner, then we can rewrite the resolution.
Well, the thing about the resolution has to do with providing a year's worth of monies to pay for the auditorium. And if you're going to do anything with it, I'd rather you remove the clerk retirement than to
That's
do
what I
anything
said.
with the rest of the
that's what I
line
was-
items.
Okay, leave it for a year.
And we
and
can,
remove that.
yeah, anytime that you vote, you vote on it, it comes into play. It's just that when we'll do the house cleaning on the resolution when we come back on our 6 months.
We'll come back sooner,
Yeah,
based on stipulation that as soon as we get an answer in writing, that we can readdress it so no one's
you can readdress it
penalized.
any time you want to.
I personally, if we can go that way, it would depend upon the motion and the second. I would rather see us do that, striking it for the short period until we get a written answer, and then with the stipulation based on that, so we have the rest of the budget in place.
If you remove that particular item, I think you need to know whether that there's any funds being paid, because if there are no funds being paid, and you're opening up the potential of that lawsuit, and that lawsuit may very well carry a great deal of expenses if it comes, including the possibility of punitive damages.
Now, one thing with the lawsuit, since the municipal league gave us their opinion, they can choose or not choose to represent us.